I'm going to show you how to use NodeJS with Twitter. That's going to cover authenticating with Twitter to get a token from a user, which token can be used to send a tweet or a direct message or lots of other things with their API. So I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly with the assumption that you already know some stuff about Node and that you've used either Express or Connect before, and just kind of bang it out and see what we get to. So first I'm going to start out with Express Twitter demo. That just creates the skeleton for Express. Then I'm just going to go ahead and do what it asks me to do here. Go into the Twitter demo, install the npm stuff, and then I'll run the app just to see that it works. And here we go. All right, great. So now I have an app. It's at localhost, and unfortunately, due to my terminal colors, something's wrong with them. I have to highlight in order to see what's going on here, but I can see it's doing some logging. That looks great. So next what I want to do is I'm just going to go to Twitter Manage Applications. How to connect to, here we go, developer, dev.twitter.com. And then from there, let's see, I want to sign in. And where is manage your applications? Get started with the platform maybe. Manage your apps, there we are. So I'm going to manage my apps, and I'm going to create another one. AJ's test app 2, description, just for testing, and then I'm just going to use localhost 3000 as my location for my website. And then I'm not going to put in the callback URL because it gets changed with the APIs we're going to use in Node every time anyway. The rules of the road are actually kind of cool if you want to read them. We've got some funny stuff in there. And then whatever the heck, I can't even read this. Let's see. Reckon. I'm just going to take a guess. Not valid URL format. Where? Okay, you know what I'll do? I'll just make it local.coolage86.com. Let's see how that works out. Okay, liked it. So I just have, I mean, like, you can do this with anything. You can just open up your etc hosts file, and then put in another address, local.coolage86.com. Now I'm gonna go, let me clear this out. I was just doing that so that I have local.coolage86.com. If I go back to my Express app, which I don't think is running, but now I can do .coolage86.com. Okay. And now my computer thinks that local.coolage86.com is my local host. So, oops. And again, the way I did that was under etc hosts. I actually did sudo, and I just added this one, so no big deal. Okay, so going back to Twitter now. Let's see, what do I need? So I need my consumer key, and I'm going to need my consumer secret, and I happen to know that, but you'll see that in just a second. So I'm going to create this config.json. And I'm just going to put in here consumer key. Put some quotes around this. And then I'll also be doing the consumer secret. One thing to note is that when you're doing this kind of stuff, you gotta make sure that you don't get the Vim characters before or after your key. So I always look H and Q, L and O. Make sure that the I got H and Q here, L and O there. Okay, so I copied and pasted it correctly. I didn't accidentally get like any extra I's or O's or those keys you commonly use to open up new lines and whatnot. So that'll be that. Then we're going to go here in app.js. If you've used Express before, you'll be familiar with the way this looks. I'm going to make a couple changes real quick just because I like to style my code differently. I'm going to throw a nice use strict up here at the top. See if that doesn't complain too much from their default code here. And then I am not going to worry about this user's route. And I do want that to be a triple equals, not a double equals. Okay, so not too many changes there from what was already inside the file. Oh, this is what I was coming here for, was to, I was going to set up the config. So I'm back at the top of the file. I'm just adding in config equals require, giving it that local config.json file. And then we're going to get into actually using it in just a moment here. So I'll open up a new line there. We need to go to Passport. Passport is what's going to allow us to get authentication through Twitter. So we're not going to use my app exactly to do this, but we're going to be doing it through other users' accounts. So, I'm just going to copy and paste this code and then delete some stuff out of it. Let me do set paste here. Whoops, set paste. Now I can paste in. And then I also am going to delete this routes user up there. That's something else we're not going to use. Oh, now it's giving me heck. All right, config.consumer key and config.consumer secret. And this callback URL, that's why we didn't specify one, because we get to specify it here anyway. So that's going to be local.coolage86.com, port 3000. And then we're actually going to be doing auth in at first, and then we're going to switch to auth z. So I'm going to call this auth in / Twitter. And then I'll get to why that is a little bit later. I'm going to get rid of all this mess. We don't need any of that. What we do need, however, is just an object to store stuff about the logged in user. So let's see. We will need the user's token. We will need the user's token secret. Sorry about all that highlighting there. Let me get rid of that. Don't know why it didn't get rid of it. Let me try saving. Okay, there we go. Good. And we might as well store the user's profile. And then we'll call done when we're done here. Just to let it know it's okay to call the callback at that time when we call done there. So I'm just creating a user object where I'm going to store this. This is going to be a really simple single page app where it's just going to do one thing, and that's allow me to make a tweet or direct message. So that's good. Now this is just the configuration for Passport. It's letting it know what my key is, what URL to call back. As you can see here, it's a Twitter strategy. So it already knows it's Twitter. And now we need to configure Express to use Passport. I actually need to configure it to use a couple of things. Let me go back. Oh, I didn't do the npm install on Passport, but I'll do that in a minute. Let's see. Oh, Twitter developers. That's that site we had open. That's where we manage our apps. Token secret profile, user profile. What's that thing on? Oh, cool. It reformats the profile. Okay, routes. Here's where we need to be. All right. So one thing it doesn't tell you right there, but I'll tell you right now, is you need to be using express dot, I think it's cookie parser. And you'll also need app dot, express dot session. Because we're going to use, let's see, we're also going to use passport.initialize, I think it is. And then we get to tell it like a strategy, I think. No, that's down here, isn't it? Okay, let me continue looking at this. Is there anything I missed here? Probably. All right, I'm just going to copy and paste this bit of code and copy and paste that bit of code. Copy and paste all the little bits of code. And just paste them in for right now, and then get them working later. Okay, that looks a little confusing to me, so I'm going to reorder it. Okay, now it's starting to become more clear. Oh, and that one too. Okay, so what is this then? Oh, this is another object inside. Okay. There we go. Kind of get a better idea of the level of nesting that's going on now. What we're passing to app versus what we're passing to passport. So we're going to tell it to use the Twitter strategy. I'll show you later how that's defined. And I'm going to go back here to look for a link to more examples, because I'm pretty sure there's some missing parts. I'll just go down to the bottom and copy this first though. I'm going to save and exit out of this, go into public index, whatever. I'm just going to create an index.html. Oh, I meant to say index.jade. Let me get out of there. Routes index.js, no. Views, there we go. Index.jade, sweet. So there, I transformed the HTML into Jade. And again, this is going to be auth in Twitter. So we say sign in with Twitter, that's good. And if we run our app now, I'm pretty sure it won't work. I also need to remove that miscreant index.html I created. So just go ahead and run this. All right, I forgot to install Passport. I'm going to do -- save so it puts it in my package.json. Give those a second. And now let's try this again. Error, secret option required for sessions. No big deal. And again, these error messages have a little bit of stuff hidden because of my color being off. All right, so let's see. Session. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's the other thing I needed to use was passport session. All right. Nope, still didn't start the server. Okay, great. Good. So nothing happened so far. That's fine by me. I'm also going to go back to the overview here and show, where's it at? Authenticate. Where are the little bits that I was missing? I don't know where it says that I need to use passport.session and passport.initialize, but it's around there somewhere. Oh, there's initialize, there's session. There we go. There's cookie parser and session right there. Excellent. So I'm now going to go fix this. This needs to be auth in. And you know what? We should probably do a little console.log. I'm going to leave that out of here for now. So this is back up in the Twitter strategy. I'm just logging something so that if we actually get to this auth in Twitter bit here, we will know it. So that's switched to auth in. Is there anything left off? No, we still want to be auth in. I think we're good now. Okay. Going back, refresh, sign in with Twitter. Failed to obtain request token. Don't know what that's about. Let me go ahead and take a look at my settings here. So I'm back to my manage my app. Let's make sure my settings are correct. Allow this application to be used to sign into Twitter. Needed to check that. That gives me authenticate and authorize. So this is why I have auth in, because first we're going to authenticate. And first I'm just going to put on read and write. So let me update this. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to refresh. Let me kill the server and start it again. Desktop applications only support them. Blah, 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 blah. Failed to obtain request token. Let me go ahead and put some of this stuff in that's missing. Meh. So I just copied just some junk code. It's just filler, but it might be necessary. Might explain why some things aren't working as well as I'd hoped. Oops. Undo, set, paste, try again, and get rid of that crap. Don't need it. Okay. And I might just take this callback URL. I don't see anything else that looks weird here. So I'm going to go back to my management. I'm going to throw the callback URL in here just for funds. Oh, apparently it didn't save when I saved it. Well, that could be a problem. Update this Twitter application settings. Okay. And now, let me refresh once for good measure. Huh, it's like one behind everything I do. Note your changes may take a moment to reflect. Okay. Hopefully it's not more than a moment. Refresh. All right, excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Sweet. And it got failure somehow. Well, that doesn't quite make sense. Doesn't look like it got failure. It looks like it succeeded. Let me go back and look at my app and see. Success redirect, success, failure redirect, failure. Okay. So far so good. Auth in callback. Go check that out. It's confusing to me. Well, you know what they say. If it doesn't work the first time, just try it again. So I'm not going to do anything different. I'm just going to see. That looks like it worked. Oh. Huh. I have no idea why that's going that way. That's okay. I'm just going to ignore that for now because I can see that it's coming back with the right request token. Everything looks great. The only thing I want to change is maybe that done function. Let's see, deserialize, serialize user ID, deserialize. Oh. No, that looks fine. I don't know what that's all about. Oh, maybe I need to put null here. And then some sort of something to give back. Let me go take a look at the documentation again. I'm going to go back to the Twitter documentation on Passport and see, okay, it's expecting me to return something. That's probably why it thinks there's a failure. So let me go ahead and return user. Excellent. Now I'll exit out of here, run it again. Okay. Sign in with Twitter. Passport.initialize middleware not in use. All right. Let me go take a look back here and see. Let's see, was it overview? No. Authenticate. Configure. Looks like it needs to come after session and before the other session. Comes after session, before the other session. Maybe I should put these in here. Just make sure it's happening sooner before it's getting handled by the routes. That's probably what it was. I think it's because initialize wasn't being called before the routes were being called. Okay, try it again. Go back. I have to start over. Sign in with Twitter. Failed to serialize user into session. That's probably not a problem. Let's see, line 18. Oops. Oh. Let's see if that helps. Or I could just give this guy an ID. I think I'll do it that way. And then I'll just ignore that one entirely. There we go. That'll be fine, because I'm not doing a user store right now. Okay, excellent. Lots of errors, lots of trial and success. Ah, yeah, there we go. Cool. So that's working out great. Now the next thing we need to be able to do is, first I want to show, well, you've already seen this. Now that I've signed in once, every time I click sign in again, it just redirects me right back. It doesn't ask me to actually sign in unless I weren't signed into Twitter. So even if I cancel the session, because all that session stuff was just in memory, start the server again, go back, sign in with Twitter, still it's redirecting me automatically. That'll be important later. So now next step, let's just get this thing to make a tweet. So I want to click a button and make a tweet. So we're just going to do this super crappy, but whatever. I'm going to go, let's see, into the views index.jade. I'm going to create another link. And this one's going to be /Twitter/tweet. All right. I kind of want to reorganize all these URLs. Maybe I'll do that later. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the file, and I'm just going to do app.get, again, lots of crappy stuff I'm doing right now. You shouldn't do things that modify stuff with a get, but I'm going to do it anyway. Res. Let's see. So now we need to know how to tweet. And turns out that there's like 11 billion Twitter libraries in Node. But you shouldn't use any of them because they're all dumb. Instead, use NodeOAuth and just look at these examples. They need a slight change. Oh wait, is it this one? It's not this one. This one right here. Yeah. So it turns out that it's really simple. So you don't need to use one of the Twitter libraries, and all the Twitter libraries are out of date anyway. So we need to have this part here. So I'm going to go up to the top and just put this in a function called init Twitter OAuth, and do my set paste again, and just do a little bit of cleanup. Okay. I like to line things up like this just so that I can see what the heck it is I'm doing. So many things going on. A lot of arguments to pass into this sucker. Okay, that looks a little bit more manageable. And then I'm just going to be replacing this with my consumer key and my consumer secret. And what's it complaining about? Oh, it's complaining that I'm not using it. Well, that's fine. All right, now let me get back over here. And we're going to want to do a post. So I can take you to Twitter's API real quick. Don't want to open up too many tabs here, but Twitter, tweet, post, API. Let's see what that gets us. There we go. Post to statuses update. So here's the URL, and they actually have the wrong URL in their documentation because it should be 1.1. They've deprecated the... Oh. I'm on the wrong page. There we go. Now, where did update go? Statuses update. Yeah. Alright, so that's the URL that I'll need. And then these are the possible options that I can supply. Lots of different stuff there. Okay. So let me get back to, I just need some example. Do they have an example with a post? Interacting with Twitter. Let me get back to pages. Because there's one where it shows how to use a tweet. Ah, there we go. Tweeting with Twitter. There we go. Yeah, this is what I want right there. Okay. So now I think this is going to be called OA. And I'm going to need to double check on that URL. Excellent. Oh, it hates me. I'll fix it. So then this is going to be my user.token and my user.token secret. And those are things that happen from the login. I get those, and where's that function at? Yeah, this function right here. This is where that comes in. And then I could use any of the number of these options that are listed here: status, and reply to, lat, long, place ID, display coordinates. Okay. So I'll just leave it like this. Test tweet from NodeJS plus OAuth. Excellent. Ugh. Come on, people. Let's not write sloppy code. Put the brackets in there. They won't kill you. Okay, that's clear to me. That's clear to me. This indentation looks off. Okay, it was off. Cool. So this should post a tweet. So I'll just rename this from init Twitter OAuth to, well, I'll make a separate function maybe. I'll go up here. I'll add this variable OA. And then just put that there. Oh, and I do need this to go back to local.coolaj6.com. I think I was making this. then Twitter callback something. I don't think I've got to worry about that actually. I think it doesn't matter what that is because I don't think it's going to be used, because we're using Passport for the actual authentication, and then we're using this other OAuth bit for the functionality. So I'm going to call this one make tweet. Okay, so I've got init Twitter OAuth and then make tweet. What I'll do then is right here where our user is getting some love, I'll do init Twitter OAuth, and then I need to define that route that was like /Twitter/tweet and make it call make tweet. Let me see. Give this like a callback. And then I'll call the callback here. Actually, I'll just take that function out. There we go. Excellent. So now I'm going to go back down to the bottom where I'd started defining that Twitter tweet, and I will call make tweet, and I will give it a callback. Well, that's not what I wanted. There we go. And then we want to end this with bad stuff happened or all is well. Go check yo tweets. Alright, so now in theory, I will be able to make a tweet. Let's try it out. So I'm still going to need to sign in. Cannot find module OAuth. Alright, that's fair. Cancel that. Two things that are wrong that are bothering me. One, under views and index, that needs a little BR break between those two. And what was the next thing to do? Oh, back to app.js. Where was this OAuth that isn't defined? Require OAuth. Okay, let's do npm install -- save OAuth. Start it back up. Sign me in with Twitter. Excellent. Got success. Make a test tweet. Go check your tweets. Let me get rid of some of these documentation pages and whatnot that are open. I'm going to need to leave that one open. I need to change that. This I think I can close. But if I go to twitter.com and I look at tweets by CoolAge86, I can see here test tweet from NodeJS and OAuth. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that because I don't actually want that tweet. But there you are. So now you can see that we're making tweets. So this is good progress. Now we got something else to do here. Now, okay, I'm going to go back to the authorization, And I'm gonna enable direct messages because I want to be able to direct message a friend. So I'm gonna set that, click update, assume that it's probably not going to work because it didn't work any of the other times. Go back, click on it again, and then hit refresh. See, okay, now it's updated. Great. So now, with only that change, I want you to see what happens here. Started the server again. I'm just going to go to the app and click sign in with Twitter. It takes me to the sign in page. Can't access direct messages. So I click sign in. It takes me there, right? Let me sign in again. I mean, it makes sense that it would have to authorize once because we're adding new functionality. But look, it still has to sign in. And if I do it again and again and again, doesn't matter how many times I do it, it always has to sign in. So we have here a problem, and there's a remedy for this. Oh, look at all those messages. So what we have to do is we have to open up app.js, and we have to make 2 Twitter passport deleos. So where we have this Twitter strategy, let me actually go back up here. I'm going to call this one Twitter auth in and Twitter auth z. Okay, now I'm going to go down here and just cut all of that out and do Twitter auth in equals all that mess. And then I'm going to need to do Twitter auth z equals all that mess again. Except this time it's going to be an auth z callback. Okay. And let's see, what else? Oh. So I've got, I'm using Twitter auth z, Twitter auth in. And there's another thing I gotta do here. I need to change the name of Twitter auth z to be Twitter auth z. This isn't documented. I found this out by looking at the code. Now if I look for Twitter, it takes me down here to where I'm doing passport.authenticate. Now I want to change this one, instead of being Twitter, which is the default name, to be Twitter auth in and Twitter auth z. And then change the URL there as well. Okay. Whew, we're getting there. We're getting there. So now I also need an auth z callback. So I'll just change that one to auth z, paste in the auth in one here. And I'm just going to change this to n success, n failure, z success, z failure. And there's also something else I need to change that I had to look in the code to find. So I'm going to look in the code again. I'm going to get out of here and look in node modules, passport, Twitter, lib, passport, Twitter, strategy. And it is this user authorization URL. So I just copied that. And for, where's the auth z? Okay, so for the auth z, I also need to supply this user authorization URL, and I need to change it from authenticate to authorize. Oops. All right, so now that should work. And then I'm going to need to go out of here. I'm going to add another link in my views index.jade. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. So this one's going to be authorize. This Twitter app. And this one's going to be sign in with Twitter. And this one's going to redirect to auth_z. Okay, cool. So now I think if I run the app, I think everything's right. If I hit refresh here, so if I do sign in with Twitter, I should see I still have the same problem. No strategy registered under name Twitter. Oops. Oh, I know what that's about. So let me look for this again. Aha! So this one needs to be renamed to Twitter authn. This one needs to be renamed to Twitter auth_z. All right, trying it one more time. Sign in with Twitter. Yes, okay. Cool, I got in success. Now watch this. When I go to sign in with Twitter again, still have the same problem. So I'm just showing you the same problem I had before. Now if I do authorize this Twitter app, note that it says authorize app. This is different, and I will have access to direct messages. So I click authorize app. Now I have Z success. Now when I go back to sign in with Twitter, it just signs me in. So even if I close out the app and start it up again, see all the little things that were going on there. Sign in with Twitter, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so the solution here is going to be to use an iframe. Well, first let's do the direct tweet, and then I'll show you the solution to how to get it so that you can have your user authorize the first time, but then only sign in every other time. Because I mean, the user's not going to know whether they want to authorize and sign in, and before the user is taking some sort of action, you don't know whether or not the user has already authorized your app or not, because you don't know which user it is. But there's a way to get around that. So now we're going to add another link, which is make a test direct message. So under views and index.jade, twitter.direct, and then I'm going to send it to my friend. Let's see, who should I send it to? Nah. What Twitter people follow me? Have any new followers? Jeff Moe is the lucky guy. Make a test direct message. I'll just throw Jeff Moe in there. And again, gets should not be creating stuff. I should do a post, but I'm not going to worry about all the front end JavaScript. I just want to get this down on the back end. So, boom. I'm going to Twitter direct SN. Res. And then I'm going to do make DM. And I'm just going to pass into this as a parameter rec.params.sn. So that corresponds to that SN there. And then I'll do res.end. Well, I'll just copy this code from up here. Alrighty. Error and data. Now I need this function makeDM to exist. So I'm just going to go, this is something where there are no other examples really at the moment. So Twitter post, I think the API is called messages new. Ah, there we are. Direct messages new. And then I need to click on the version 1.1 link. And go back down here. Excellent. Okay. So there we are. So I'm just going to copy the same thing that we had from the make tweet. I'm going to call it makeDM. Oops. Oh, line up right. And this one's going to accept a user and a callback. And then I need to use that URL. It's on the page here, and then these are the parameters that I can put in: user ID, screen name, text. So I'm going to put in screen name to be SN and text to be, hey, this is a test message using the NodeJS API. Pulled your SN at random. Sorry. Hopefully that's under 160 characters. Alrighty. So that's looking pretty good. Oh, this was supposed to be SN there. Okie dokie. There we are. So now, the only way that we'll know this works, I probably should just set up a dummy account to be able to test these kind of things. But the way that we'll know that this works is just by the output that we see on the console, because you can't see what messages you've sent. But I think it'll work. So I'm going to come back here, get rid of that, and just go back to my app. I'll probably need to sign in again. Remember, it's signing in that's actually giving me the token. And then since my session is persisted, like every time I close the server and open back up again, I need to sign in to be able to get the token. I don't need to authorize it every time. I only need to authorize it once. So now I want to make a test direct message. Bad stuff happened. Excellent. You cannot send messages to users who are not following you. Okay. Followers. Well, I know that Ryan's following me. I'll do him. Oh. That's why. Picked the wrong one. Okay, back to this. That wasn't his SN, that's why. Alright, so I expect that if I just tried to do this directly, that it would fail because I'm not actually signed in. I'm guessing that's why that is. Let me sign in. Great. And then make a test direct message. Message sent, but you can't see it. Great. So that's done. Now we just have one last little thing to worry about, which is how do we get it so that we don't have to present the user with options of either authorizing or signing in. We just present the user with they authorize, and if they've authorized, then they should be able to sign in automatically. So for that, here's what we do. I'm just going to do the super ghetto style. I'm going to create a auth-in frame dot jade. Oh, this is so terrible. All right, so what was the source here? Oh, we not doing source. We're doing it the old terrible. No, we're gonna do source. No, we're not. Yeah, we are. No, we're not. No, we're not. I'm just gonna do, what is it, like window dot parent dot alert signed in, maybe? Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. All right, so I'm going to run Jade on that to produce the HTML. Great. Jade is installed, npm install -g Jade, FYI. Okay, so now I go back to my app, and let's see, where's my auth-in for Twitter? So success redirect is going to be to auth-in frame.html. Okay, and then in my, whoops, I probably went too fast on that. Probably went too fast on everything, whatever. So success redirect on auth-in, that's when I click sign in. I'm going to look at views, index, and this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make an iframe with the source of auth-in Twitter. So I'm going to get rid of this one. Not going to show that one anymore. I'm only going to show authorize. But this frame is going to have the source auth-in Twitter. So let's see, this should work. So there's the frame, and it's not working. Let me try and open a new tab. Signed in. Oh, it doesn't like the fact that it's in a frame. Maybe let me try something different, because I'm trying to figure out what point it's failing at. you go to views. No, what was it? Public. All right, leave that out for now. I'm going to set the network capture on. Reload the page. Cancelled. So I think this might be a security policy thing. So maybe I was wrong. Let's see, are there any security policy things here? About frames. So cookie. Strict transport security might be it. X-frame options, same origin. Yeah, XSS protection. Alright, so this probably isn't going to work. What I was thinking you could do is have this iframe open. It would do the authorization, and if the person had already authorized the app, it would do the authentication. If the person had already authorized the app, then you'd be able to call JavaScript back into the main page to be like, hey, this person's authorized and they're already signed in, so no need to show the sign in button. But in this case, I don't really see any way around it. Maybe you could Google. I'm sure somebody's figured it out. But anyway, so that's sending tweets and direct messages with Twitter and Node.js. If this was useful for you, please go ahead and give that little thumbs up button a nice click. Also, you'll see the notes are in the comments section down below. You can either at the end of the article or right up at the top. Give it a like, tweet, +1, whatever. Thanks.